AWS EC2, EBS and EFS. Notes for AWS Solution Architect and SysOps certification. By Cloud Dev. Date, April 27, 2020. Table of Contents 1 Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, Amazon EC2, and Amazon Elastic Block Storage. 4.1.1 Exam Objective. 4.1.2 Introduction. 5.1.3 Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, Amazon EC2. 5.1.3.1 Compute Basics. 5.1.3.2 Instance Types. 6.1.3.3 Amazon Machine Images, AMIS. 7.1.3.4 Securely Using an Instance. 8.1.3.5 Virtual Firewall Protection. 9.1.3.6 The Lifecycle of Instances. 10.1.3.7 Managing Instances. 11.1.3.8 Monitoring Instances. 11.1.3.9 Modifying an Instance. 11 January 3rd 10 Security Groups. 11 January 3rd 11 Termination Protection. 11 January 3rd 12 EC2 Dashboard. 11 January 3rd 13 EC2 Metadata. 12 January 3rd 14 Spot Instance. 14 January 3rd 15 Screenshots. 16 January 3rd 16 Pricing Options. 17 January 3rd 17 Reserved Instances. 18 January 3rd 18 Spot Instances. Error. Bookmark not defined. January 3rd 19 Architectures with different pricing models. 18 January 3rd 20 Tenancy Options. 19 January 3rd 21 Placement Groups. 19 January 3rd 22 Instance Stores. 20 January 3rd 23 EC2 FAQ. 21.4 EBS Basics. 22 1.4.1 Types of Amazon EBS Volumes. 23 1.4.2 Protecting Data/Encryption. 26 1.4.3 Summary. 30. 1.4.4 Relationship between storage and your instance. 32 1.4.5 Create Snapshot Lifecycle Policy. 34 1.5 Elastic File System EFS. 36 1.6 Use Cases. 39 1.6.1 Lift and Shift Enterprise Applications. 39 1.6.2 Big Data Analytics. 39 1.6.3 Web Serving and Content Management. 39 1.6.4 Application Testing and Development. 39 1.6.5 Media and Entertainment. 41.6.6 Database Backups. 41.6.7 Container Storage. 41 1.6.8 Lab. 41 1.6.9 FAQ Amazon Elastic File System, EFS. 43 January 6th 10 Storage Classes and Lifecycle Management. 44 January 6th 11 Data Protection and Availability. 45 January 6th 12 Scale and Performance. 45 January 6th 13 Provision Throughput. 47 January 6th 14 Encryption. 47 January 6th 15 On-Premises Access. 47 January 6th 16 AWS Data Sync. 48 January 6th 17 Compatibility. 49 1.7 ECR. 49 1.8 EBS FAQ. 52 1.8.1 Instance Type. 53 1.8.2 Instance Features. 53 1.9 Appendix A. 54 1.10 Additional Notes EFS. 58 1.10.1 Notes. 58 1.10.2 URL. 59. AWS EC2, EBS and EFS. 1 Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, Amazon EC2, and Amazon Elastic Block Storage. 1.1 Exam Objective. The AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate Exam Objectives covered in this chapter may include, but are not limited to, the following. Domain 1.0, Designing highly available, cost-efficient, fault-tolerant, scalable systems. 1.1 Identify and recognize cloud architecture considerations, such as fundamental components and effective designs. Content may include the following. How to design cloud services. Planning and design. Monitoring and logging. Domain 2.0, Implementation/deployment. 2.1 Identify the appropriate techniques and methods using Amazon EC2, Amazon Simple Storage Service, Amazon S3, AWS Elastic Beanstalk, AWS CloudFormation, AWS OpsWorks, Amazon Virtual Private Cloud, Amazon VPC, and AWS Identity and Access Management, IAM, to code and implement a cloud solution. Content may include the following. Configure an Amazon Machine Image, AMI. Configure services to support compliance requirements in the cloud. Launch instances across the AWS global infrastructure. Domain 3.0, Data Security. 3.2 Recognize critical disaster recovery techniques and their implementation. content may include the following: disaster recovery, Amazon EB. 1.2 Introduction. In this chapter, you learn how Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, Amazon EC2, and Amazon Elastic Block Store, Amazon EBS, provide the basic elements of compute and block level storage to run your workloads on AWS. It focuses on key topics you need to understand for the exam, including how instance types in Amazon Machine Images, AMIS, define the capabilities of instances you launch on the cloud, how to securely access your instances running on the cloud, how to protect your instances with virtual firewalls called security groups, how to have your instances configure themselves for unattended launch, how to monitor and manage your instances on the cloud, how to change the capabilities of an existing instance, the payment options available for the best mix of affordability and flexibility, how tenancy options and placement groups provide options to optimize compliance and performance, how instance stores differ from Amazon EBS volumes and when they are effective, what types of volumes are available through Amazon EBS, how to protect your data on Amazon EBS. 1.3 Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, Amazon EC2. 1.3.1 Compute Basics. Amazon EC2 allows you to acquire compute through the launching of virtual servers called instances. Senior number. Family. Description. C4. Compute optimized for workloads requiring significant processing. R3. Memory optimized for memory-intensive workloads. I2. Storage optimized for workloads requiring high amounts of fast SSD storage. G2. GPU-based instances intended for graphics and general-purpose GPU compute workloads. For workloads requiring greater network performance, many instance types support enhanced networking. Enhanced networking reduces the impact of virtualization on network performance by enabling a capability called Single Root I/O Virtualization, SRIOV. This results in more packets per second, PPS, lower latency, and less jitter. At the time of this writing, there are instance types that support enhanced networking in the C3, C4, D2, I2, M4, and R3 families. You can provision EC2 in 5 ways. PG12, Direct EC2, Auto-Scaling, CloudFormation, Elastic Beanstalk OpsWorks. 3 ways to access EC2, Console, API and Windows PowerShell. 1.3.2 Instance Types. 3 ways of pricing model. On demand, pay for the instance for SEC with no long-term commitment. Expensive. Reserved, make a low, one-time, upfront for instance, reserved 1 to 3 YRS. Spot instance, use slot cost EC3 whenever available. Amazon EC2 provides the following purchasing options to enable you to optimize your costs based on your needs. Senior number. Instance type. Description. On-demand instances. Pay, by the second, for the instances that you launch. Reserved instances. Purchase, at a significant discount, instances that are always available, for a term from 1 to 3 years. Scheduled instances. Purchase instances that are always available on the specified recurring schedule, for a 1-year term. Spot instances. Request unused EC2 instances, which can lower your Amazon EC2 costs significantly. Dedicated hosts. Pay for a physical host that is fully dedicated to running your instances, and bring your existing per socket, per core, or per VM software licenses to reduce costs. Dedicated instances. 1. Pay, by the hour, for instances that run on single-tenant hardware. 2. Address compliance requirements and reduce costs by using your existing server-bound software licenses. Capacity reservations. Reserve capacity for your EC2 instances in a specific availability zone for any duration. 1.3.3 Amazon Machine Images, AMIS. The Amazon Machine Image, AMI, defines the initial software that will be on an instance when it is launched. Linux AMI virtualization 2 types, 1 HVM AMIS and 2 PV AMIS. HVM AMIS are presented with a fully virtualized set of hardware and boot by executing the master boot record of the root block device of your image. This virtualization type provides the ability to run an operating system directly on top of a virtual machine without any modification. The Amazon EC2 host system emulates some or all of the underlying hardware that is presented to the guest. Unlike PV guests, HVM guests can take advantage of hardware extensions that provide fast access to the underlying hardware on the host system. All instance types support HVM AMIS. PV AMIS boot with a special bootloader called PV Grub, which starts the boot cycle and then chain loads the kernel specified in the menu. PAR virtual guests can run on host hardware that does not have explicit support for virtualization, but they cannot take advantage of special hardware extensions such as enhanced networking or GPU processing. The following previous generation instance types support PV AMIS: C1, C3, HS1, M1, M3, M2, and T1. Current generation instance types do not support PV AMIS. An AMI defines every aspect of the software state at instance launch, including the operating system, OS, and its configuration, the initial state of any patches, application or system software. 1.3.3.1 published by AWS. AWS publishes AMOS with versions of many different OSs, both Linux and Windows. These include multiple distributions of Linux, including Ubuntu, Red Hat, and Amazon's own distribution, and Windows 2008 and Windows 2012. Launching an instance based on one of these AMOS will result in the default OS settings. As with any OS installation, you should immediately apply all appropriate patches upon launch. 1.3.3.2 The AWS Marketplace. AWS Marketplace is an online store that helps customers find, buy, and immediately start using the software and services that run on Amazon EC2. Many AWS partners have made their software available in the AWS Marketplace. This provides two benefits. The customer does not need to install the software, and the license agreement is appropriate for the cloud. Instances launched from an AWS Marketplace AMI incur the standard hourly cost of the instance type plus an additional per-hour charge for the additional software. 1.3.3.3 Generated from existing instances. An AMI can be created from an existing Amazon EC2 instance. Customers launch an instance from a published AMI, and then the instance is configured to meet all the customer's corporate standards for updates, management, security, and so on. An AMI is then generated from the configured instance and used to generate all instances of that OS. It will meet corporate audit requirement as well. 1.3.3.4 Uploaded virtual servers. Using AWS VM import/export service, customers can create images from various virtualization formats, including RAW, VHD, VMDK, and OVA. The current list of supported OSs, Linux and Windows, can be found in the AWS documentation. It is incumbent on the customers to remain compliant with the licensing terms of their OS vendor. 1.3.4 Securely using an instance. Once launched, instances can be managed over the internet. AWS has several services and features to ensure that this management can be done simply and securely. There are several ways that an instance may be addressed over the web upon creation. Public Domain Name System, DNS, name. When you launch an instance, AWS creates a DNS name that can be used to access the instance. This DNS name is generated automatically and cannot be specified by the customer. This DNS name persists only while the instance is running and cannot be transferred to another instance. Public IP. A launched instance may also have a public IP address assigned. This IP address is assigned from the addresses reserved by AWS and cannot be specified. This IP address is unique on the internet, persists only while the instance is running, and cannot be transferred to another instance. Elastic IP. An elastic IP address is an address unique on the internet that you reserve independently and associate with an Amazon EC2 instance. While similar to a public IP, there are some key differences. This IP address persists until the customer releases it and is not tied to the lifetime or state of an individual instance. Because it can be transferred to a replacement instance in the event of an instance failure, it is a public address that can be shared externally without coupling clients to a particular instance. 1.3.4.1 Addressing an instance. 1.3.4.2 Initial access. Amazon EC2 uses public key cryptography to encrypt and decrypt login information. Public key cryptography uses a public key to encrypt a piece of data and an associated private key to decrypt the data. These two keys together are called a key pair. Key pairs can be created through the AWS Management Console, CLI, or API, or customers can upload their own key pairs. AWS stores the public key, and the private key is kept by the customer. The private key is essential to acquiring secure access to an instance for the first time. Public key is stored in the /.ssh/authorized_keys file on the instance and an initial user is created. When launching a Windows instance, Amazon EC2 generates a random password for the local administrator account and encrypts the password using the public key. 1.3.5 Virtual Firewall Protection. AWS allows you to control traffic in and out of your instances through virtual firewalls called security groups. VPC. 1.3.6 The life cycle of instances. 1.3.6.1 Launching. 1.3.6.2 Bootstrapping. Bootstrapping. A great benefit of the cloud is the ability to script virtual hardware management in a manner that is not possible with on-premises hardware. In order to realize the value of this, there has to be some way to configure instances and install applications programmatically when an instance is launched. The process of providing code to be run on an instance at launch is called bootstrapping. One of the parameters when an instance is launched is a string value called user data. This string is passed to the operating system to be executed as part of the launch process the first time the instance is booted. On Linux instances this can be shell script, and on Windows instances this can be a bash-style script or a PowerShell script. The script can perform tasks such as applying patches and updates to the OS, Enrolling in a directory service. Installing application software. Copying a longer script or program from storage to be run on the instance. Installing Chef or Puppet and assigning the instance a role so the configuration management software can configure the instance. User data is stored with the instance and is not encrypted, so it is important to not include any secrets such as passwords or keys in the user data. 1.3.6.3 VM import/export. In addition to importing virtual instances as AMS, VM import/export enables you to easily import virtual machines, VMS, from your existing environment as an Amazon EC2 instance and export them back to your on-premises environment. You can only export previously imported Amazon EC2 instances. Instances launched within AWS from AMS cannot be exported. 1.3.6.4 Instance metadata. Instance metadata is data about your instance that you can use to configure or manage the running instance. This is unique in that it is a mechanism to obtain AWS properties of the instance from within the OS without making a call to the AWS API. An HTTP call to http://169.254.169.254/latest/meta-data will return the top node of the instance metadata tree. Instance metadata includes a wide variety of attributes, including the associated security groups, the instance ID, the instance type, the AMI used to launch the instance. This only begins to scratch the surface of the information available in the metadata. Consult the AWS documentation for a full list. 1.3.7 Managing instances. When the number of instances in your account starts to climb, it can become difficult to keep track of them. Tags can help you manage not just your Amazon EC2 instances, but also many of your AWS cloud services. Tags are key/value pairs you can associate with your instance or other service. Tags can be used to identify attributes of an instance like project, environment, dev, test, and so on, billable department, and so forth. You can apply up to 10 tags per instance. 1.3.8 Monitoring instances. AWS offers a service called Amazon CloudWatch that provides monitoring and alerting for Amazon EC2 instances, and also other AWS infrastructure. 1.3.9 Modifying an instance. You can change instance class. January 3rd, 10 security groups. January 3rd, 11 termination protection. When an Amazon EC2 instance is no longer needed, the state can be set to terminated and the instance will be shut down and removed from the AWS infrastructure. In order to prevent termination via the AWS Management Console, CLI, or API, termination protection can be enabled for an instance. While enabled, calls to terminate the instance will fail until termination protection is disabled. This helps to prevent accidental termination through human error. January 3rd, 12 EC2 Dashboard. Tab Name. Subtab Name. Description. EC2 Dashboard. Resources, running instance and its details. Events. Event and region. Tags. Manage tags, tag key, tag value, total instance. Reports. EC2 usage report, take to billing screen. Limits. Shows limits. Instances. Instances. Launch templates. Spot requests. Reserved instances. Dedicated hosts. Capacity reservations. Images. AMS. Bundle task. Elastic block store. Volume. Snapshots. Lifecycle manager. Network and security. Security group. Elastic IPS. Placement groups. Key pairs. Network interfaces. Load balancing. Load balancer. Target groups. Auto scaling groups. Launch configuration. Auto scaling groups. January 3rd, 13 EC2 metadata. Instance metadata is data about your instance that you can use to configure or manage the running instance. Metadata is not protected by cryptographic methods. Anyone who can access the instance can view its metadata. You can also use instance metadata to access user data that you specified when launching your instance. Metadata. curl http://169.254.169.254/latest/meta-data or get http://169.254.169.254/latest/meta-data. EC2 user $curl http://169.254.169.254/latest/meta-data. AMI ID. AMI launch index. AMI manifest path. Block device mapping / event / hostname. IAM / instance action. Instance ID. Instance type. Localhost name. Local IPv4. MAC. Metrics / network / placement / profile. Public host name. Public IPv4. Public key / reservation ID. Security groups. Services / EC2 user $curl http / 169.254.169.254 / latest / metadata / AMI ID. AMI 0 of def 12345678890. EC2 user $curl http / 169.254.169.254 / latest / metadata / localhost name. IP 10-251-50-12.ec2.internal. Curl http / 169.254.169.254 / latest / metadata / public key / 0 equals my public key. When EC2 instance is hibernated and brought back up, the public IP4 address is renewed. All the other IP addresses are retained. When EC2 instance is in hibernate, you are only charged for elastic IP address and EBS storage space. Default CloudWatch metrics. CPU utilization, disk reads and writes, network in and out, PL note, memory is not. Custom matrix. Memory, disk swap, disk space, page file utilization and log collection. January 3rd, 14 Spot instance. Spot instances are available at up to a 90% discount compared to on-demand prices. Take advantage of unused EC2 capacity. For workloads that are not time critical and are tolerant of interruption, Spot instances offer the greatest discount. With Spot instances, customers specify the price they are willing to pay for a certain instance type. When the customer's bid price is above the current spot price, the customer will receive the requested instance, S. These instances will operate like all other Amazon EC2 instances. And the customer will only. Use cases. Big data and analytics. Containerized workloads. CI/CD and testing. Web services. Image and media rendering. High performance computing. January 3rd, 15 screenshots. Free tier eligible customers can get up to 30 GB of EBS general purpose, SSD, or magnetic storage. Learn more about free usage tier eligibility and usage restrictions. If you need encryption of data in transit, use the EFS mount helper and the TLS mount option. January 3rd, 16 pricing options. You are charged for Amazon EC2 instances for each hour that they are in a running state, but the amount you are charged per hour can vary based on 3 pricing options. On-demand instances, most flexible pricing option, as it requires no upfront commitment, and the customer has control. January 3rd, 17 reserved instances. The reserved instance pricing option enables customers to make capacity reservations for predictable workloads. By using reserved instances for these workloads, customers can save up to 75% over the on-demand hourly rate. An additional benefit is that capacity in the AWS data centers is reserved for that customer. There are 2 factors that determine the cost of the reservation: the term commitment and the payment option. Duration of the reservation can be either 1 or 3 years. The longer the commitment, the bigger the discount. There are 3 different payment options for reserved instances. All upfront pay for the entire reservation upfront. There is no monthly charge for the customer during the term. Partial upfront pay a portion of the reservation charge upfront and the rest in monthly installments for the duration of the term. No upfront pay the entire. You can modify your whole reservation, or just a subset, in one or more of the following ways. Switch availability zones within the same region. Change between EC2 VPC and EC2 Classic. Change the instance type within the same instance family, Linux instances only. January 3rd, 18 architectures with different pricing models. For instance, a website that averages 5,000 visits a day, but ramps up to 20,000 visits a day during periodic peaks, may purchase 2 reserved instances to handle the average traffic, but depend on on-demand instances to fulfill compute needs during the peak times. January 3rd, 19 tenancy options. Shared tenancy. Shared tenancy is the default tenancy model for all Amazon EC2 instances, regardless of instance type, pricing model, and so forth. Shared tenancy means that a single host machine may house instances from different customers. As AWS does not use over-provisioning and fully isolates instances from other instances on the same host, this is a secure tenancy model. Dedicated instances run on hardware that's dedicated to a single customer. This provides physical isolation. As a customer runs more dedicated instances, more underlying hardware may be dedicated to their account. Other instances in the account, those not designated as dedicated, will run on shared tenancy and will be isolated at the hardware level from the dedicated instances in the account. Dedicated host and Amazon EC2 dedicated host is a physical server with Amazon EC2 instance capacity fully dedicated to a single customer's use. Dedicated hosts can help you address licensing requirements and reduce costs by allowing you to use your existing server-bound software licenses. The customer has complete control over which specific host runs an instance at launch. This differs from dedicated instances in that a dedicated instance can launch on any hardware that has been dedicated to the account. January 3rd, 20 Placement Groups. A placement group is a logical grouping of instances within a single availability zone. Placement groups enable applications to participate in a low-latency, 10 Gbps network. Placement groups are recommended for applications that benefit from low network latency, high network throughput, or both. Remember that this represents network connectivity between instances. To fully use this network performance for your placement group, choose an instance type that supports enhanced networking and 10 Gbps network performance. January 3rd, 21 Instance Stores. An instance store, sometimes referred to as ephemeral storage, provides temporary block-level storage for your instance. This storage is located on disks that are physically attached to the host computer. An instance store is ideal for temporary storage of information that changes frequently, such as buffers, caches, scratch data, and other temporary content, or for data that is replicated across a fleet of instances, such as a load-balanced pool of web servers. The size and type of instance stores available with an Amazon EC2 instance depend on the instance type. At this writing, storage available with various instance types ranges from no instance stores up to 24 2TB instance stores. While some provide hard disk drive, HDD, instance stores, other instance types use solid-state drives, SSDs, to deliver very high random I/O performance. Data in the instance store is lost when the underlying disk drive fails. The instance stops, the data will persist if an instance reboots. The instance terminates. January 3rd, 22 EC2 FAQ. What will the new identifier format look like? The new format will be AND-LT 17 characters MGT, e.g. VPC 12345678890 of def 0 for VPCs or subnet 12345678890 of def 0 for subnets. Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, Amazon EC2, is a web service that provides resizable compute capacity in the cloud. It typically takes less than 10 minutes from the issue of the run instance's call in order to instance gets in healthy state. Are there any limitations in sending email from Amazon EC2 instances? Yes. How quickly can I scale my capacity both up and down? Within minutes. What operating system environments are supported? Amazon Linux, Ubuntu, Windows Server, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, SUSE Linux Enterprise Server, Fedora, Debian, CentOS, Gentoo Linux, Oracle Linux, and FreeBSD. What does your Amazon EC2 service level agreement guarantee? 99.99%. Amazon Elastic Block Store, Amazon EBS. SLA credit. Less than 99.99% but equal to or greater than 99.0%, 10%. Less than 99.0% but equal to or greater than 95.0%, 30%. Less than 95.0%, 100%. The maximum ratio of provisioned IOPS to requested volume size, in GB, is 50:1. Compute optimized instances. When should I use compute optimized instances? Like high-performance web servers, high-performance computing, HPC, scientific modeling, distributed analytics and machine learning inference. Can I launch C4 instances as Amazon EBS optimized instances? Each C4 instance type is EBS optimized by default. C4 instance is 500 Mbps to 4000 Mbps to EBS. General purpose instances. T2 instances baseline performance and ability to burst are governed by CPU credits. Model. VPUS. CPU credits/hour. Maximum CPU credit balance. Baseline CPU performance. T2.nano. 1. 3. 72. 5% of the core. T2.micro. 1. 6. 144. 10% of the core. T2.small. 1. 12. 288. 20% of the core. T2.medium. 2. 24. 576. 40% of the core asterisk. T2.large. 2. 36. 864. 60% of the core. T2.slarge. 4. 54. 1296. 90% of the core. T2.2 slarge. 8. 81. 1944. 135% of the core. Q. How can I see the CPU credit balance for each T2 instance? You can see the CPU credit balance for each T2 instance in EC2 per instance metrics in Amazon CloudWatch. T2 instances have 4 metrics: Puckeriditis H, Puckeridite balance, Puzure plus credit balance, and Puzure plus credits charged. What are EC2 high memory instances? 6 TB, 9 TB, or 12 TB of memory in a single instance. For SAP HANA, in the cloud. What is the life cycle of a dedicated host? The dedicated host will be allocated to your account for the period of 3-year reservation. After the 3-year reservation expires, you can continue using the host or release at any time. When should I use memory-optimized instances? In-memory applications, in-memory databases, in-memory analytics solutions, high-performance computing, HPC, scientific computing, and other memory-intensive applications. X1 instances are ideal for running in-memory databases like SAP HANA, big data processing engines like Apache Spark or Presto, and high-performance computing, HPC, applications. Storage-optimized instances. What is a dense storage instance? Designed for workloads that require high sequential read and write access to very large data sets, such as Hadoop distributed computing, massively parallel processing data warehousing, and log processing applications. How do dense storage and HDD storage instances compare to high I/O instances? High I/O instances, I2, are targeted at workloads that demand low latency and high random I/O in addition to moderate storage density and provide the best price/IOPS across other EC2 instance types. Dense storage instances, D2, and HDD storage instances, H1, are optimized for applications that require high sequential read/write access and low-cost storage for very large data sets and provide the best price/GB storage and price/disk throughput across other EC2 instances. What is a high I/O instance? High I/O instances use NVMe-based local instance storage to deliver very high, low latency, I/O capacity to applications, and are optimized for applications that require millions of IOPS.
So friends, till now we have seen the total notes on EC2 instance. So these notes are a summary of at least 200 to 300 pages. That is important for the examination. So welcome to the Cloud DEF channel. My name is Mahendra. I welcome you. The objective of these notes are to make you prepare for the solution architect and SysOps exam. So a lot of time what happens, the pinpointed knowledge is very much important, and we are not able to get that information. We have to read a lot of documentation. So I have got these notes for you and hope these notes are useful to you. In the next session or next video, we're going to see EBS basics and EFS and other chapters. Thank you. Take care.